Coach, one of our fans on social media wants me to ask you this question. What are the biggest obstacles in traveling, especially being so far from most of the Big Ten teams?
Well, we do have to fly a lot. There's only two opponents in conference that we don't that we bust to, and that's Penn State and Maryland. So, unfortunately, I didn't get to play a Big Ten game yet. I have to wait for next year for that. But, it's kind of challenging, to play the early part of our season and even the conference games because we're so spread out. We're going to Iowa to play a Friday game. We might have to leave at 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday. Pack up, have a breakfast in the locker room, get on the bus, go to Newark, maybe get on a flight at 10, arrive out there at 2 or 3, maybe an hour from the school, get on another bus, check into the hotel, eat something quick, go over to the field and practice, and then, eat dinner, set our itinerary for the next day, go over our scouting report, go over any other reminders that we have to with the team, and then go to bed and start your 3-game series. And, you get done playing Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and then you have to come home and you got to go to class. You might get in at 4 in the morning, Monday morning, and you got to go to classes, on Monday. So it's challenging instead of just going up the road to play St. John's or Seton Hall. Those are easier trips, than flying to Iowa to play a weekend baseball series. So there is some challenge. It's also, I think if you're an 18 to 21-year-old guy, I think it's, kind of fun to go see these other schools, compete against kids from across the country. While you're there playing baseball, you get to see, the gymnasiums and the basketball arenas and the football stadiums. And your pitchers might, get to go do their running after they pitch, around the other campuses, and you get to eat barbecue in some parts of the country and steaks in other parts. And so there's some cool stuff with traveling. I would lie to you. I mean, there's a difference between traveling like we travel, and then being a professional team where
Right.
you get on a charter and, your luggage is put on the plane for you. That's a different animal. But this is something, that's part of our sport, and you have to embrace it and not fight it because it's inevitable. We're playing 35, probably at least 35 away games out of our 56-game schedule. So, there's times when it's very difficult, but in general, it's quite rewarding. And if you can win on the road, then you certainly can win at home. I've never used the road as an excuse. I think that's what I think that's the wrong message to send to your team. You're going to be able to win on the road. The bases are still 90 feet apart, and the mound's the same height. So I've never used playing on the road as an excuse.
Well, before you were coaching at Rutgers, at the start of this century, you actually were coaching an independent school called Lemoine. And actually,
Century, huh? You got to use that word, century.
I think it was 2000. What was it? 2001. He started.
Coach,
there,
he's making
like
us. He's making us feel old. Okay.
At the start of this century, you were coaching at an independent school called Lemoine, and you actually made 3 regional tournaments with them. Talk about the challenges you had to do as an independent school in order to get into the tournament. And do you think the NCAA, not just in baseball but even in other sports, makes it very difficult for independent schools?
Well, I'll correct you. Like when I was at Lemoine, we were in the Metro Athletic Conference with Manhattan and Iona and Canisius and Niagara. We were in that conference.
Oh, okay.
So even though we were, at the end of that run, so we were in that conference for like 18 to 20 years. I was in there from like 99 to 2007. And then what happened was, so we were winning the automatic qualifying bid by winning the conference tournament, and so then at the end of 2007, we had played, I believe we were playing in a regional with Ohio State, Texas A&M, and Louisiana Lafayette. And I remember that because Jonathan Lucroy was catching for Louisiana Lafayette, but we competed quite well there. We had 3 or 4 players drafted. One of them went on to play in the major leagues from that team. And then about a month after the season got over, our athletic director, our longtime athletic director, had retired, and we actually got kicked out of the league because we were an associate member, and the league had just decided to go in a different direction with their membership. So, I was running the only Division I program at the school. The rest of the teams were Division II. And so I begged them to keep us independent for a couple of years to see if somebody else would scoop us up in a conference. And then when it became clear that wasn't going to happen, that's when I pursued another job opportunity.
As you guys know, we are talking to Rutgers baseball head coach Steve Owens. Coach, let's get into some MLB conversation, because to me, the MLB has been all over the place the last couple of months. And really, I want to know your opinion. And I've asked a bunch of the coaches on their opinion of the Houston Astros situation, of the cheating, electronic cameras in their
The buzzers.
the buzzers. I mean, all the different things that is going on. And to me, I know you're a coach and you've been coaching for many, many years. Do you think baseball got it right? Do you think baseball should have suspended some of the players, or do you think they should have dropped the hammer on the organization?
Well, I'm not a political guy. I don't get involved in some of these battles that I should be sticking my nose in too often. But I do feel, that there's like at every single sports team is trying to gain whatever competitive advantage they can, and there's ways to do that. Like if a pitcher is actually tipping his pitches because you've paid attention and you've studied him, and you can get that. That's different, in my opinion, than videotaping something and banging on a trash can. To me, that's quite bad because it changed the outcomes of the game. The pitchers that were pitching were they were handicapped. It doesn't matter what major league hitter you have. If they know what pitch is coming, they're going to hit it. They can hit 100-mile-an-hour fastballs, and they can hit filthy sliders. So I feel that was bad. I'm not really going to pass judgment on, who should have got what punishment. I think the game will take care of itself a little bit too. I mean, they kind of got a reprieve right now because, they were getting yelled at in the spring training, and then things got shut down, and right now people are focused on some different things. But, I'm not even sure, exactly, the extent of all the penalties that got handed down, but none of the players got suspended, right?
None of the players got suspended. Nope.
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure on that. Again, I think especially in this climate that we're in right now where everyone's frustrated, I'd like to have a lot of friends and stay in the middle on some of these things. But I do feel bad that the game was cheated because, I don't think anyone that loves a sport or loves professional sport, wants to see it tainted by anything that was done improperly. And I'll kind of leave it at that.
If you were a coach in that situation, if you felt like somebody was using those kinds of technology to steal signs and against you, what kind of approach would you have in terms of maybe changing your game plan or having your pitcher or catcher changing your signs? Would you do anything creative?
Well, yeah. I mean, we have to do that. We've kind of, even this year, we wound up putting like play cards on our wristbands with pitchers and catchers because of the advent of video. So we just took that totally out of the mix this year and didn't worry about it. We set up down the middle with our catchers. The pitchers knew the pitch and the location based on what the pitching coach called, and so they knew where we were throwing the pitch and what kind of pitch it was. And we wound up practicing with this all winter, and we got pretty efficient at it. We only got to play like 15 games, but it was great. The game sped up. The infielders also had the same type of number notification on the wrist, so they knew if you're the shortstop, you knew to anticipate that a changeup was coming and maybe position yourself in the six hole a little bit, or just anticipate that the ball was going to be pulled if the right-handed batter was up. So we kind of took, we took a proactive approach to that this year because, I think there's some good pitch stealing and things like that happens in collegiate baseball also, and we just tried to get ahead of it.
Coach, before we let you go, why don't you tell the fans how they can find you on social media?
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I'm sorry. Coach, before we let you go, why don't you tell the fans how they can find you on social media?
Well, we have, you can follow Rutgers Baseball, and we have our own Twitter account and Instagram account and our website, our school website. Jimmy does a great job of posting recent stories on our players' accomplishments, and I've limited my social involvement, to my own Twitter account. And so, between phone calls and emails and WebEx calls and Zoom calls, I can only handle about one other social media thing. So, I'm just, and I like to look at the Twitter stuff because every now and then you can find a pretty good picture on there, or watch a nice swing, or read something that's interesting. So I filter through that a little bit with some free time. But, again, I guess I'm a little more old school, but, we're hoping to build something really special here that people in this area can come and watch and embrace and get behind and get excited about. And, again, I think, I'm very impressed with the leadership at Rutgers University and the direction that we're headed as a school. This pandemic has set everybody back, and we're hoping, especially in this part of the country, which has been the hardest hit part of the country, that, good fortune comes to all and we can get back and get excited. I know you guys are drooling for some sports to be played, and I can't wait to watch a baseball game and just enjoy it, and then be able to get out and watch kids play again.
As you guys know, if anybody knows, the first topic we talked about is how important sports is to the world right now coming back. So, yes, we're very excited that we're hearing that there will be sports coming back, Coach. But when the baseball season does start for you guys, we'd love to get you guys on, and we'd love to get you back on. And we would love to come out there to Rutgers and actually interview some of the players and some of the coaches if you allow us to.
That would be great. Anytime. Anytime that we can publicize, the good stuff that's going on down here, we want it. And we would love to have you guys down to talk about baseball anytime.
Thank you so much, Coach, for joining us.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on, and stay safe, and looking forward to a baseball game.
Absolutely.